Attention football fans, so UEFA has launched a new format for the Women's Euros qualifiers, and here are the details. Welcome guys once again. My name is Selassie and I'm just a guy who loves women's football because I believe that the world will be a better place with the success of women's football. So if you have been following the European women's competition for some time, you will notice that there's been a little change in the qualification for the Euros and the Olympics and the Women's World Cup as well. So in this video, we break it all down in simple terms for you to understand, because Charlie, I was as confused when the whole thing came about. Because of you, my cherished viewers and subscribers, I decided to take my time to study it and then come here and break it all down for you to understand and get to know what is actually happening in the world of women's football with respect to Euro. If you noticed, in the last international window, there were some competitions going on which was called the UEFA Women's Nations League. Now, it is the first of its kind, and this competition is going to serve as a basis for the qualification to the World Cup or to the Olympic Games and also to the Euro. So in this year, it is specifically for the Euros 2025 and the Paris Olympics 2024. This is how the whole thing is being. Now bear with me, I will try as much as possible best to break it down to the simplest of terms that even a 10-year-old can understand. Okay, now this is how the UEFA Nations League are formed. So let's assume you are working with about 51 teams, which was actually what was used in this inaugural season of 51 teams. Now, these 51 teams will be grouped in 3 different leagues. Now, in the 3 leagues, there is the League A, League B, and the League C. Obviously, League A is the top tier, the League B is the second tier, and then League C is the third tier. So you ask me, how are we going to find out which teams are going to be in which league? Good. Now there's what we call the Uefa coefficients rankings, which probably is used to rank each team or each country's performance in Europe. So the top 16 teams will be grouped in the first league, which is the League A, and they were drawn in the League A. Now the next 16 were drawn in League B, and then the rest of the teams are drawn in League C. Now mind you, each league consists of 4 groups, with the exception of League C, which is a bit tricky because most often will contain 5 groups, and one of the groups might end up having 3 teams in them, depending on the number of teams that is being used in a particular UEFA Nations League season. Now in this particular season, it also had 5 groups, with one of the groups having just 3 teams in them. Good. So now that we are aware of what happens in the teams, let's now go into the match days and how the points are being scored. Now mind you, each group will be playing home and away matches, and at the end of it all, with the points that they accumulate, they will be rearranged according to their rankings in the table. Here is what happens. The winners in League A automatically qualify for the UEFA Nations League semi-final playoff, in which 2 of the winners of the semi-final go into the final, and the winner of the final automatically becomes the winner of this season's UEFA Women's Nations League, which was Spain after beating France 2-0 in the final last week. And there's also going to be a 3rd place playoff for the semi-finalists. Now, because this is going to serve as a qualification route for the Olympic Games 2024, the 2 finalists will automatically have a slot for the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. However, with this instance where France, which is the host nation, they have automatically qualified, right? So it won't be fair that, they will take someone's spot. So in this instance, the person who wins the 3rd place playoff joins the 2nd finalist, who is not the host, to participate in the Olympic Games later this year. In this instance, it was Germany, after they also defeated Netherlands in the semi-final playoff. Great. So now let's move on to the relegation and promotion, shall we? So in League A, the runners-up automatically stay in the league, and the league losers or the group losers, those who are the 4th position, would automatically be relegated to League B, and the League B winners will automatically qualify or will be promoted back to League A. In that same instance, the winners of the League C will also be promoted to League B. I hope that's simple, right? So it's just basically simple. If you top your group, you go to the next level. If you are the last person in your group, you are relegated. Now for League B, there's something special there. The losers of League B and the least ranked third place team will both be automatically relegated to League C. Now this is how the playoffs is going to be, because obviously there are some people who have to play up to justify their inclusion to be in a certain league. So this is how it's going to be done. The third place teams in League A will be paired up against the League B's runners up, and the winner of each tie goes to League A and the loser comes to League B. Subsequently, the best 3 third place teams in League B will be paired up against the best 3 runners up in League C, and the winner goes to League B and the loser comes to League C. That seems pretty fair, right? So now when all this is done, it means we now have a new group which is different from the initial group, which was being based on the UEFA coefficient. So from now on, it practically means that nobody is going to be placed in a particular group or a particular league based on the team's coefficient, but rather the team's performance. So the playoffs, of course, will also be going on concurrently with the semi-final playoffs, and the winners will be found out, and which they were found out, and those who were promoted, and those who were relegated were relegated. Now when this is done, we now have new teams in new leagues, obviously, and what's going to happen now is there's now going to be another draw. Now this draw happened on Tuesday, and this draw was to determine a new group for the 2025 Euros qualifiers. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video to explain how the Women Euros qualifiers is going to pan out. So stay tuned, subscribe for more, and comment your thoughts below. Until I see you in this next video, I'm Selassie, and I'm just a guy who loves women's football. Cheers.